is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode on EI Entertainment Studios. Back at it with another debate episode. Today's debate episode, we're going to be talking about Cthulhu versus the Lernaean Hydra. So here's the plan, folks. We're going to put these two giant creatures up against each other in a debate battle after we go over their backstories and analyze them and their abilities and everything like that. So without further ado, let's begin with the backstory and characteristics and all the good stuff with Cthulhu. So Cthulhu was born on the planet Vhoorl, located actually in the 23rd nebula. He traveled to the star Zoth, where he spawned his offspring alongside with his children and the Star Spawn of Cthulhu. Cthulhu traveled to Saturn and then to Earth. They landed on a continent in the Pacific Ocean and built the city R'lyeh. Cthulhu received resistance from the Elder Things, who also lived on planet Earth. They waged war with the planet Earth until a truce was made. Cthulhu then went into a deep hibernation within R'lyeh. Humanity then evolved on Earth, and Cthulhu communicated with several through dreams. So this information, obviously, this isn't a creature I came up with myself. This is a creature not from myself, basically. I got the information from Villains Wiki, so you should check them out. Now, abilities, I'm going to do a quick skim. I'm going to finish off this creature. We're going to come back to it and do a deep analysis of each ability. So for now, I'm going to do a quick skim. It goes as follows. Immense size, vast strength, Nigh-omniscience, flight, magic, psychic abilities, telepathy, and madness inducement. Now, territorial level is maximum, aggression is maximum, biome is indeed Earth and space, and height is unlimited. Now, yes, the height is unlimited. Basically, that means he can shape to any size he wants. He can go from an inch to the tallest building in the world to even taller than that. So that's a big advantage, right, for against anyone who he's fighting. Now, abilities, go back and let's do a deep analysis. So first we have immense size. So yes, immense size means he can grow up to become humongous, or he can go down to be as small as a human being, or even smaller. Now, vast strength basically means he has pure brute strength. He is very, very powerful and very strong. After that, we have Nigh-omniscience. It basically means having wisdom, super wisdom. He can tell things that are going to happen before it happens. He can basically tell the future of how wise he is on what happens beforehand, right? So let's say an opponent wants to do a move, he can 99.9% of the time predict the move and counter it. In this case of, fighting someone. So that's very, very bad for the opponent, very, very good for Cthulhu. He can fly. He can actually get out of the water and fly. He can also do magic, and the magic itself, it's, specifically used to confuse the opponent, right? He could do magic tricks of colors all around him, or cause hallucinations with his magic, and it's going to cause a lot of pushback from the opponent, which is going to cause him to either regenerate his health or do a super attack. From that, we have psychic abilities. Now, psychic abilities basically is not physically touching something, but being able to move stuff and do things with your mind. For example, I don't know if you've ever seen like people who claim to be able to move, I don't know, stuff with their mind, like cups or whatever. It's the same thing in this case, so Cthulhu can actually move stuff. So he can move buildings around or move the opponent around if he focuses hard enough with his psychic abilities. After that, we have telepathy, and basically it means he can mind read. So now that connects together, right? Not only is he super wise, he could actually read minds. So he basically knows exactly what's going to happen. Very powerful. And finally, he has the madness inducement. The thing is, with the madness inducement, it's primarily made for people, but we'll see if it will qualify for the kaiju here. Okay, now this basically sums up Cthulhu. Let's go to Hydra. or I should call him the Lernaean Hydra. So the Hydra is a monstrous, multi-headed reptile from the myths of ancient Greece. It made its lair in Lake Lerna. According to the myth, beneath the lake was an entrance to the underworld, and the Hydra was its guardian. Most of the time it stayed in the spring of Amymon, a deep cave, only coming out to terrorize neighboring villages. So a bit more relaxed than Cthulhu, I would say. Still, obviously still crazy, but Cthulhu is way more aggressive. Abilities: quick skim, large head, which is immortal. So basically, let me put it in this perspective. It has one giant head and it has many other smaller heads. But don't worry, we'll come back to the abilities. Regeneration 2 for 1, acid blood, acid breath. Territorial level is maximum, aggression is maximum, biome is ocean, and the height for this specific video, we're gonna go with 100 meters tall. Okay, let's go back to the abilities and let's understand what these even are. So, large head immortal, I already explained that. Basically has many heads, and he has one big alpha head. If you, like for example, King Ghidorah, right? King Ghidorah's main head in the middle is the alpha head. Kind of taking that perspective. But the difference between King Ghidorah and this, that one doesn't have a bigger set. This one is like the one big large head that does all the thinking and has all the powers, right? And basically it's immortal. You can't kill it. Regeneration 2 for 1. This is incredibly powerful. So every time a head gets ripped off, 2 heads grow back. Yes. Every time a head gets ripped off, 2 grow back. 2 for 1. Acid blood. Basically, great example I could give is the xenomorph, right? If you've ever seen the xenomorph, you cut into its body, the blood comes out, and it's acid. It rips flesh, metal, anything. In this case, same exact example, obviously different blood, but same scenario here. His blood is acid and will cause damage to the opponents, to metals, to whatever you want to call it. And then acid breath. He has breath that's full of acid and can do a lot of damage to you as well. So he definitely, obviously, not as many abilities as Cthulhu, but has a very good defense mechanism and very good offense mechanism as well, in both ways, right? All right, folks, that sums up the Lernaean Hydra, and we also did Cthulhu. Now we're gonna put them up against each other in a death battle. But before we do that, I want to explain how we're gonna do this. We have close range and far range battles. The reason why I do it like this: far range, we're going to limit the abilities because not every ability can be used in far range, right? Some has good punching, some has good physical abilities. You can't use that because you're not touching the opponents. So we're trying to see if these opponents can win even if some of their abilities are limited. And then close range, well, it's all out war. So we're going to do far range first, and here's the plan for far range. They cannot come closer than 700 meters. So they can't be 700 meters close. They have to be 700 meters apart, cannot physically touch each other. So let's see what abilities Cthulhu can or cannot use in terms of far range. So immense size, sure, who cares, right? Vast strength, I don't see how strength can be justified as a defensive ability. He can obviously, I'm gonna say no to that because it's an offensive ability. If his body is strong, his body is strong, right? It's that simple. So the answer is no for that one. Nigh-omniscience, okay. He can use that. It doesn't matter how far he is. He does not matter. That is not a factor based off of that. Flight, he can fly around, but remember, he can't ram into his opponent, obviously. He has to fly around and not touch the opponents. That's the deal here. Magic, he can use that, but it's not going to have the same effect as if he were like right next to the opponent. 100%. That is the case here. Now, with psychic abilities, he can use that. I would say he could still move the opponent or move buildings around. It doesn't matter how far he is. Psychic ability doesn't really matter in my opinion, especially a kaiju or an opponent at this rate as Cthulhu. He's very, very powerful, right? Super powerful. So that is to say that that's not going to have too much damage. Now, moving on to telepathy, that I believe will be done too. You will be able to mind read, no problem whatsoever. And madness inducement is only for human beings in my opinion, so it will do basically nothing to the Hydra. Alright folks, now let's move on to the Hydra and see what abilities he can or cannot use. This is going to be interesting. Large head is immortal, it's a defensive, it doesn't matter how far he is, yes. Regeneration 2 for 1. Again, it doesn't matter. Yes. Acid blood? No. The blood is obviously not going to fly 700 meters. It's not going to happen. So that's no. Acid breath will work. The acid from the breath will shoot out and will travel that distance. So that basically that's all the abilities he has. So let's put them up against each other. I obviously, in my opinion, I see Cthulhu being the first one to attack. I see him being more aggressive. And I see him using not an offensive ability in this case, nothing like nothing that's going to hurt him instantly, but I think he's going to use his telepathy, and he's just going to study the opponent. He's going to study the Hydra and see what the Hydra is going to do. And as soon as the Hydra is going to use the acid breath, he's going to obviously use his telepathy, and he's going to move out of the way. Just like that. Just like that. However, as soon as he does that, he can do his psychic abilities and focus right on the Hydra and start ripping up his heads. Immediately. From his mind, ripping up his heads. He can do that. Now, remember, 2 for 1. Every head that's ripped off will grow back twice the amount it was cut. However, if Cthulhu, which I believe Cthulhu can, focus hard enough, he can rip every single head off at the same time, including the large head, which is immortal. He can rip the head off. If all heads are ripped off at the same time, there's no way it's going to grow back because the big one is out, the one that controls all. Now the head is going to be alive. It's going to be alive. But it's not going to be connected to the body. Right? And this is just honest. This is what's going to happen. Because the Hydra, with its acid breath, it's just that the whole telepathy thing destroys the chances. Let's just be honest here. It's too overpowered. And as soon as he focuses with the psychic abilities and cuts all the heads off, including the large one, it's not connected to the head. There's nothing he can do to fight him anymore. It's very simple. Cthulhu will win in terms of far range. That's the outcome in my opinion. You can debate me in the comment section below. Please do that. I really want to hear what you guys think. Now, for close range, it's a whole different game. For close range, it's physical. They're touching each other. Not in that way, come on guys, let's be mature here. They're physically attacking each other. So here's what I want to put into perspective now. This is where things get interesting, right? Very interesting. The Hydra, we agreed that he's going to be 100 meters tall. While Cthulhu doesn't have a limit on his size. So, why wouldn't he? Why wouldn't he? He can grow to 200 meters tall. He can double his size. So that right there, he is double the size. Because he can. Just because he can, he just doubled his size against the Hydra. That right there, the Hydra is going to use the acid blood. Remember, assuming he gets him once, it's going to cause a lot of damage to Cthulhu. Cthulhu can use telepathy and forever, again, just evade every single ability the Hydra uses, because he can mind read and know what he's going to do exactly the moment he's going to do. He's super wise, and you can do psychic abilities. Now let's say they're in a city, he can start just picking up and throwing buildings from the city to the Hydra. And again, same thing, he can pick up the Hydra with his mind and rip all the heads at the same time. Just because he's so big. And even if he doesn't do that, he's so big, he could get even bigger, that he can physically overpower the Hydra and absolutely destroy the creature. In every way possible, I see Cthulhu being the winner. So Cthulhu 2-0 for me. Now, this is just my opinion. You can debate in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, have a wonderful day. So that's it, guys. Cthulhu has won 2-0. I'll see you guys in the next one.